sensory processing is one of the most important things to talk about when it comes to autism. In my opinion, it's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about autism, about the challenges of autism. And I've just finished a project about autism. I've written a guide about the most important topics of autism, and this was the first thing that I wanted to write about. So I'm very glad that I can now make a video about it as well, so I can tell you about what sensory processing means to me and hear your opinions about that. I personally have autism as well, and I want to give the disclaimer that when you've met a person with autism, you have only met one person with autism, because everyone is different and people with autism are very different as well when it comes to, like, I just want to say they're not, no one is the same. That's what I'm saying here. But when it comes to sensory processing, it's just a thing that people, if everyone has this, everyone becomes aware of sensories, but people with autism, they experience it in a different way than people without autism. When you walk outside, you would feel like you're either cold or you're warm, but a person with autism, they're gonna feel this in a different way. And there's two ways to go around it, or there's two ways that they can feel it in a different way. Either the sensories, they're over processing it, or they're under processing it. And it's very important that I say the both of them, because when you look up things about autism and sensory processing, you would mostly see the things about this over processing, but under processing more and more, but we're not seeing too much of that. And I think it's very important to talk about it as well. I personally, I experience this over processing more. So when, like, I give you the example that you're walking outside and you feel warm, it's just that a person with autism, or an autistic person, if you like to say it like that, they experience this warmth even more than a person with autism. They feel it even more, so they're actually feeling warmer than people without autism. And it's actually very important to know that people with autism, that they can actually feel this even more, because when communicating or when helping or when being around a person with autism, it's very important to be aware of that. It's very important to understand that, to have empathy for one another, and understand that this person is struggling even harder with these specific things, but that's just because this sensory system, that's one thing of it, but one thing of it, and it's very important of it, is that the sensory system of people with autism is just different. And by overprocessing it's the sensories that it's harder. And it could be in very, like, in different things, like warmth is an example of feeling, but it could also be like a dog barking, like it's very loud and it might be annoying to you, but for a person with autism it's even louder, like for some people with autism, not for everyone with autism, but for some people with autism it's even louder. So that's why, or that's one of the reasons that you might see people with autism wear headphones to protect themselves from these loud noises. there's also this under processing. So I've just talked about this over processing. It's the thing that I personally that I experience the most as well. But you've also this under processing where that you aren't as much as aware as a person without autism. Like the example of walking outside and people without autism feeling very warm. Some people with autism might actually walk outside and don't feel that at all. They're not aware of. They're not. Some of them are not aware of that because they just experience this sensory system in a way that they don't feel it as much as others do. I've also had like a very interesting conversation with an autistic person about this topic of under processing this sensory senses. And what is very interesting is that he this specific person, when he doesn't feel any senses at all, that he becomes very stressed. He needs these senses around him, so he goes looking for these things like putting loud music on and going to busy places. He specifically likes like train stations or airports because they're very busy, very noisy. There's lots of people around. There's lots of things to see, lots of things to smell, to feel, to like everything. And that's what gives this person gets in a peaceful state rather when he's around more places, more busy places where there's a lot of senses going on. Then you have these people who over process sensories, and they would most likely tend to avoid such places. Me personally, I like social places as well. I've really worked on my social character, and that's why I enjoy it, but I have to be in the mood for it. Like if I'm not in the mood for it, then I'm not going to go to it. But yeah, both of this, either over or under processing, might have the same reaction when it's too much or too less. And you have like actually two reactions, and this is shutdown and meltdown. I always get confused with these words because there's one that I think like it doesn't really make sense to me, but I think a meltdown is explosive, and that doesn't make sense to me because when I it's my perhaps my autistic brain is a meltdown. I think about melting and then explode. Like exploding it's very warm to me, but anyways, um, yeah, it's when it comes like when things become too much. This sensories becomes too much. This it feels like a person might explode. Like this I don't think that's the right way to say it, but that's what that's how it looks like. Like this person might become very aggressive or very loud. Like it's because it's too much, and it becomes shouting. Like I don't know the English term for it. I'm not used to saying these things in English, so that's why. But I hope you can understand what I'm saying here. And this happens. It's happened to me as well. It's not fun to experience that. I can tell you that it's not fun to it's not fun to explode. It's like you can't, like, me personally, when it happens, it's been a while since it happened, so that's good. But when it happens, it can be very, yeah, you can lose control over yourself, really, and that's really, um, it can, it can set yourself in a state that after that happens, you're very disappointed in yourself because you couldn't control yourself, and that's how I experience this, when it's too much, that when I, like, there's too much sensories, I get frustrated, and when I, let's call it, explodes, then I lose control, and then I regret losing control. It's something that's not really in your hand, so I know it's something that you shouldn't really, like, you should um, blame yourself, not blame yourself for, um, because it's due to autism that it happens, but it's something that happens. So what I would say as advice in that is to make the person with autism um, in your area say that make him feel safe. That's what I want to say. Like, make a safe environment, especially when you have children with autism. Make sure that they grow up in a place where they have a safe environment that they can, and also an environment where there's not too much senses going around, like a very, like, make sure the children have a very, or people with autism have a very peaceful room. Then this you have also this shutdown, and I've also experienced that mostly after I exploded, and this happens um, when does this happen actually? It's just, I think it's the same. Like, it's also when it's too much or too less, like the sensory become too much or too less. You can like, some people with autism explode, but you can also have people, and you can have both. Like, I've definitely had both in the past. You can also have people who shut down. It's, I don't know if implosive is an English word, but they become very silent, and they basically freeze. It's really, it's a freeze reaction, but it's really, yeah, it's really clear that it's the freeze reaction. It's a longer freeze reaction. It's not a freeze reaction of a few seconds or minutes. It can take very long to be in this shutdown. And the advice that I have here is also the same, actually. Like, make sure the person with autism can be in a room where this person, he or she, feels safe. So I feel like I've already said enough about this sensory processing, and I have no idea who is going to see it and who not. Perhaps 3 people, perhaps 20, 30. But I feel like stuff like this is important to put out in the world, and this is why I'm still doing it. So I'll also make videos about these other topics that I've written about, and yeah, so make sure that you're following me for that. I'll see you next time.